sex and sexuality. So how are you about your sexuality as a woman and sex? If you've inherited Catholic guilt, this could be a minefield for you, or just not as good as it could be. You may have extreme problems in experiencing and expressing your sexuality. This is the third week's podcast on the Kindle launch of my book, Daddy's Girls Guilty as Hell, by Susan Ní Raghallaigh, and the subtitle is The Lonely Legacy of Catholic Guilt. Please be aware that the major legacy of Catholic guilt is an awful loneliness. The main issues I deal with in the book are relationships, sex and sexuality, and intuition. So, this week, I'll read you an excerpt from the chapter on sex and sexuality in the book, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. I started writing this chapter about sex, sexuality, spirituality and the self of a woman in April 1996. And every time I sat down to work, I had to put off the writing of it for days. I wrote most of it that November, and I finished it in May the following year. I had to move through a lot of guilt to write it. I'm really good at avoiding things when I don't want to do something. When I get the old sudden rush of anxiety and the words "I can't" come into my mind, I can find every excuse in the book for not getting down to work. I suddenly find I need chocolate cake, even when it's not PMT day, or another cup of tea, or maybe another walk to the beach when I've just got home from a 2-hour walk. Or maybe there's a phone call I should make, or I'll meet somebody while I'm out walking who suddenly becomes very interesting for me to talk to. Or I'll do all the things I usually hate doing, like the washing up, sorting out a kitchen cupboard, ironing. But things have to be really bad for me to resort to ironing as an avoidance tactic. Anything but sit down and write about sex and sexuality and the self of a woman. God, at 43 years old, still feeling guilty about talking about sex and sexuality and what it means to me. And I'm really shocked as I realise this. But the truth is that the way I'm feeling right now, I could be a 15-year-old expecting someone to jump out behind me and tell me, "You can't say that," or "You shouldn't write that. What will everyone think?" Or "Nice Catholic girls don't say those things," or use those words, or "To feel those things in your body is a sin." I'll describe my thought process to you. In my mind, I've gone back to being 15 years old and I'm thinking in Catholic religious speak. Words like temptation and damnation and penance are coming up in my mind. I feel as if I'm doing something wrong, and the weight on my shoulders is getting heavier and heavier until it feels like I'm carrying a burden. I'm Susan Ní Raghallaigh. I'm a meditation and hatha yoga teacher as well as being a published author. My book is Daddy's Girls Guilty as Hell, The Lonely Legacy of Catholic Guilt, A Woman's Soul Imprisoned. It's on Amazon Kindle now. The AISN number is B for Bertie 0062 F for Freddy 654M for Mother. There's a link from my website, www.suzanneyoga.com, on the homepage, in the shop, or the cafe books area. And there's a PDF downloadable, printable version available for those who are non-Kindle lights. That's me. I'm a non-Kindle light. Namaste. Next week's podcast is on intuition. This is for your healing. Susan.